What's up, everybody? This one we're going to be checking out the Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2 M.Bison. This is definitely one that I've been wanting to get a hold of. I had the older Soda version, Soda Street Fighter Bison, but his arm kept falling off. It was still my favorite design by any company to make a Street Fighter figure. I think it was really cool. It just suffered from the QC issues for mine. So I've been waiting for a good one. Storm came out with a Bison that I did want. I never picked it up, but it was I can't remember which version it was. I think it was a Street Fighter 5, and he had like the gray hair, not the black hair. He had the long waistcoat instead of the short. And this is the version that I want. This is how I associate Bison. So I'm very happy to get this one and check it out. So here he is in this window packaging. You got the arcade. You got his fighting profile picture. Side of the arcade with his bio. You got the back with the other fighters. Other side. And we'll get them open and check them out. All right, so opening the package, you get this is the background that's in there that holds the figure, and it is just part of his fighting stage, which looks pretty cool. I like that they do that little detail. And here is Bison outside of the packaging. We have his accessories. So here we have the alternate hands. He's got the two fists on him. He's got these open palm hands, which look good. He's got this flame, his psycho power effect that goes over his hand for when he's punching you. Or doing that smack, that little overhead when he flips down and smacks you. Got the alternate head, which looks really, really cool. Just a little more angry face. And you got these shoulder pauldrons that are really cool. It's a really cool design that Jada went with to make it be able to work so that the pauldrons don't affect your articulation. I really love what they did. I didn't have this figure for long. I just opened it up and checked it out, but it's already made a really good impression on me. And I can't wait to check it out a little bit more as we do this review. So this Bison looks pretty cool. I love the cape that they got on him. It's a really nice material. It's not what I would expect for something in this price range, which I think is really cool. I think Jada definitely tries to over-deliver, which is very awesome. This material is just really nice. I can't even describe it. This cape has a bendy wire in there, which, I mean, you don't even get that sort of thing in most lines, even expensive lines. But I like that they did it for him. Super awesome. I love this. I mean, Bison has an iconic look. You know, he used to have the cape in Street Fighter 2. He would throw it off. You never really saw it. He had the cape in Alpha 3 or in Alpha. And he's known to be wearing this. And I'm glad they gave it to us. It doesn't hinder any articulation as far as I can tell. It's just holding on here, and you can't even get rid of this. Like, it is definitely in there, part of those pauldrons, but we'll show why in a little bit. So he's on the ball joint, the double ball peg, and he looks up that far, which is awesome. That's great. He looks down pretty far. He is really, really using that. They did a great job. Butterfly joints. And if you notice, his pauldron is going with him, which is awesome. Because it kind of, it's on like a different piece that actually goes onto the peg for the shoulder and then connects into that butterfly. So it's like a free floating piece in there. You've got that shoulder joint, T-pose. Really good. Upper bicep cut. Double jointed, pinless elbow. horizontal hinges for the wrist rotation. You got the diaphragm cut. Really cool. Ball joint for the waist. And then of course you add that with your diaphragm. You get some really good, articulation in there. You've got this piece right here. His skirt is free floating, but it's on there pretty tight. Legs go out that far forward, pretty good. Back about that far. Double jointed, pinless knees. You've got his knee is sculpted with the armor on there. You've got the shin guard armor. And you've got a hinge with the rotation, the pivot, which is awesome. So you get a lot of articulation out of this guy, which is great because it lets you do all kinds of poses. So I'm gonna swap out the hands here. And depending on how you want to do it, you could do this with either fists, but you got him doing his Psycho Crusher with the cape. But look at that. See how the pauldrons went backwards? And make it look more relaxed, like he's flying. That's really good. But one of the most awesome things is he's flying at you. He wants to look at you. That awesome articulation lets him look right up at you. So cool. Really, really well done. Really thought out. Probably further than anybody else was going to do it. So depending on how you wanted to do it, use those articulation points. And you got him doing his Psycho Crusher. Of course, we need him to do a little spin. Really awesome. One thing I wish he came with that he didn't was a way to do the crossed arms. But we'll see what we can do here. I can't really, that looks more like he's hurt. Let me mess with it a little bit. So that's about the best I can do. Couldn't get too crazy with it. I kept messing with it. Just can't get it to give me the more natural look that I want. But I wish they would have had molded arms to do that, which would have popped off here maybe. Kind of like the figure art stuff. That would have been really cool. Right now it looks more like his fixing his like wrist gauntlets. And from here we'll look at the paint. This guy has really nice red and the blue. Got the gold with this little lightning bolt kind of carved in there. We got nice texturing all throughout his suit. Of course, this black cape with the gold. Got the blue and gold. They did a really nice job. With the gold on his hat. I think it was all molded in red and then just painted gold after. Nice silver going throughout. It looks really good. So pretty simple. Done exactly the way it needed to be. Nothing too crazy. Really nice texturing through the whole body. I'm glad they do that. Don't leave it super plain. And I have his alternate head on right now. And of course I got the fists on. So One of the other things that we're gonna do here is check out the cape system. So what they did was, which was really cool, is these capes plug into his shoulder armor, these little pauldrons. But the pauldrons are also connected to another piece that is these shoulder joints plug through to keep it there. And if you don't want the cape, you know, sometimes he doesn't wear the cape, sometimes he throws it off, depends on what version you're looking for. These actually plug in to the top. And then you have this little system that they use to plug in. So what you're gonna do there is you got these pauldrons and they slide right on. You just gotta match them up. Which one has the R and one has the L. So the one with the L goes on to Bison's left, so facing him would be your right. And it just snaps on in, you can hear that. And these don't have any pegs, so they don't like slide in there to anything, they just snap right over. So really cool. A really nice system to give you that smooth look. You don't have those leftover peg holes. I believe the soda version, if I remember right, had the, when you took the cape out, had the peg holes. So very awesome job, really unique system. I really like that a lot, to give us these pauldrons smooth looking and in a way that doesn't affect our articulation. Very cool. So there I swapped the Bison head back to the neutral face. Here's a good look at the cape. And if you look underneath, you'll see the R and L, and also these parts right here that the cape actually pegs into, where it actually connects into that shoulder system. We're gonna take a look at his other accessory, his Psycho Power, which in some games, you know, it'll come out when he kind of does that little dig type punch, like something like an uppercut. Or accidentally pop that off. Or it'll come out whenever you're doing that Psycho Crusher. So Psycho Crusher. Or he does it when he does his little head stomp, and then he comes down, he does that backflip, but then he like smacks you. Then he'll smack you on the way down. Pretty cool. So it looks like the further you push these shoulders in and use that butterfly joint, these pieces actually connect against his like shoulder blades. And when they do, they cause it to pop off. So I guess it does it doesn't really hinder the articulation, but it is something to note that you can only go so far with it. I guess it just depends on the angle, because that's pretty far out and it's not doing it. But I know if I rotate this back, there it goes, it pops off. So it just depends on the angle. So that's good to know. You still get pretty far with it. Just something to be, I guess, keep in the back of your mind when you're posing. you can still get really awesome posing out of him. And the best natural looking one with that armor that I've seen in any figures, but I don't have the soda one to compare with. Not anymore, but I never got the Storm one. And I don't even have the Figure Arts one I'm not sure how their system works. But really cool looking figure. Let's grab some other ones to do a little size comparison. And here we have them next to the Jada Toys Ryu, and then we got the Jada Chun-Li, which they look awesome and scaled together, with Bison being the bigger one out of all three of them. I'm really curious to see how the other little warlords are going to be, with Sagat especially, to see how tall he's going to be, since I think he'll probably be the tallest one in the line. Or maybe a T-Hawk if they ever get around to making him. That's going to be pretty crazy too. But, you know, they all got their history together. If you go off the animated series, you got, or the animated movie, you know, Bison's trying to find Ryu after he beats Sagat, or you do the movie version with Chun-Li, you know, her village getting wiped out or whatever, when she's talking about that, or he's talking about it, and, you know, the whole, for me, it was a Tuesday. You know, he's so awesome, he's crazy. So here's the Jada Bison next to the Storm Balrog and the Storm Sagat. And there's an obvious size difference. They pretty much dwarf him. But that's more because of Storm's scaling. You know, they are larger scale figures. And I think you can tell the difference in the looks. But that's also because of the price range for those figures. I mean, they're pretty up there, so you expect a lot more out of them. And I mean, for what you get with this Bison at the price point, really, really good. And here he is next to the Storm Guile, which, you know, just further shows the different scaling and the size difference between the two companies. So overall, I would say this figure is a really great figure, especially for the price point. I mean, you get a lot with this figure. You get the nice texturing through the entire body. You get some pretty solid paint work in there. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of different colors, but they are done pretty good. And then you get this shoulder pauldron, you know, articulation and the design of it, which is awesome. That cape is so good with the wires in there and the material that they used. There's a lot of higher end companies that charge a little bit more for their figures who don't make capes this good. That's a very good figure. I'm very happy to have this one and add it to the collection. And I mean, this Street Fighter line is really, really, really standing out. It's really good. So that's going to be it for this review. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.